Hi, this is Jack Stanley, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the Chicago World's Fair of 1893. Now, the World's Fair of 1893 was known as the Fair. It was an incredible exhibition, and of course, it ran from 1892 to 1893, and it was called the White City. It was this magnificent city, this magnificent gathering of buildings and art and culture and the like. And of course, every World's Fair has mementos, and I have over the years collected a number of things. I want to pull out a few pieces that I have that are dealing with the World's Fair and show them to you because I think they're kind of cool. And also, the other fact is that how often do you get to see them? So, the World's Fair, of course, opened in 1892. And in 1892, the fair opened, and they had all kinds of things that they were selling. This is one of the things I thought was kind of cool. I don't know how well it'll work here. This is from the World's Fair. It says World's Fair there. And of course, in the bottom, it's a souvenir. And it's from, I don't know if it'll show the dates. It won't. But that's from the World's Fair. And I see the dates are here on the back here. Let's see if I can do this. The other side here. The other side of that coin. It's kind of cool. But these are one of the things that were sold. And of course, to get into the fair, you needed tickets. And here's a couple of different examples of tickets. First one. Now, of course, this has a portrait of Christopher Columbus, which, well, nobody knows exactly what Christopher Columbus looked like, and so it's always a guess. Of course, since this was Chicago, in Chicago, Illinois, it only makes sense that one of them would have a picture of Lincoln. It's another one here. Of course, while you were there, you could buy a myriad of things. You could buy souvenirs and booklets, and pictures, and the like. And they had little tokens that you would use to pay for various things. I have some of those put away. I don't have them pulled out right now, but they had little tokens you could use that would get onto like the Ferris wheel or whatever it may be. You'd also get different types of books there. This is a really pretty book. I love the look of this one. It's just a very beautiful book. It's like brand new to a degree. And of course, it has all kinds of scenes, of the fair. It's a lovely, lovely book. Now, some people wrote books all about the fair because the fair was a big thing. It was in all kinds of magazines. Joseph Allen's wife, which is kind of an interesting thing. It's Moretta Holly, actually, is her name. But she wrote a book called Samantha at the World's Fair, and it used on the front of the book the whole thing on the World's Fair. It's really quite a fantastic picture on front of it. It's really neat. It's a wonderful memento. As a matter of fact, I have to tell you where I got this. I acquired this book at the Rutherford B. Hayes Presidential Museum in Fremont, Ohio. They had this for sale, and I had to have it because I love the Chicago World's Fair, and anything with the Chicago World's Fair on it, I try to get. And of course, the name of the World's Fair was called the White City, and they had booklets you could get there that were about the White City, Chicago, 1893. And of course, once again, just filled, chock filled with pictures of things at the fair. Hundreds of pictures in this album. And not to be outdone, they had others. This is the what do they call it? The World's Fair Art Series, in which they called it the Dream City. And the Dream City, of course, once again, it's just filled with various pictures. Some of the pieces of art that were there. You can see some of the buildings and the like. Once again, there are hundreds and hundreds of pictures in this book. It's very thick. And the World's Fair in Chicago, of course, was amazingly popular, and also it led to the reemergence of Chicago as a major city. One has to remember that in 1871 you had the Great Fire. Well, you know the old story of Mrs. O'Leary's cow, however true that is. But in 1893, Chicago's World Fair opened and announced to the world that Chicago was back. Many, many years ago, I walked the area of the grounds of that fair, and there really wasn't anything left of substance. Yes, the Museum of Science and Technology is the old art exhibit palace in the 1893 World's Fair. Now, it's not the same building per se, because the original structure was made out of a fancy form of plaster of Paris. The buildings were not permanent, and so it had to be taken down basically and rebuilt and copied. It was used in the 1934 World's Fair in Chicago as well, and that was also an amazing fair. I've got a number of things on that as well. But one of the things is that the World's Fair of 1893 gave us so many things. That's where a lot of stuff started to appear. And it was the first of the really big World's Fairs. Yes, you had the centennial celebration in Philadelphia, but the 93 World's Fair was something totally different. It was lit with electric lights. There was canals all over. All of the progress of the world was exhibited. You could see phonographs play. You could see telephones. You could see motion pictures. It was the world that was going to be. So, the World's Fair, cool place. If you get a chance, study about it. I have found it a fascinating thing to study because it was an interesting composite of the world that existed then, but also an interesting thing that World's Fair of 1893 changed much of the world of architecture. Architecture became much more conservative, much more neoclassical after that World's Fair, and it had a profound effect on architecture for the next generation. So, if you get a chance, go to Chicago, walk around the grounds where the World's Fair once was, and remember what once